Can everyone come over here, please? Can we get together to begin this program? Can they hear me? Okay, everyone, please come over here so we can begin the program. I'm getting too close. I want us to welcome each other to come here. Welcome, because this is a very important and historical moment for us. So let us get together, let us all be together, showing how strong we are and how determined we are in what we want to do. That we are one body of people. So my name is Maria Cristina Gutierrez. I am from Colombia, a country that has been one of the worst victims of the so-called war on drugs and now war against terrorism. This so-called war has been created to instill fear in the people of this country, and in that way justify wars and occupations, and the inhumane of Pelican against progressive governments around the world, like in Venezuela, Ecuador, and Bolivia, without any success, but were able to accomplish Pelican. In Colombia, the trillions of dollars that have been sent to fight this war are used to pay the death squads and the military to exterminate any kind of opposition. And it has cost my country 30,000 people to disappear, and over 5 million people have been displaced by the government. The result has been a massive exodus of our people to the big cities, the neighboring countries, and even to the United States. Any liberation movement in the world, and especially in Latin America, is called narco-traffickers and terrorists. And any government that denies the United States' exploitation of our country's natural resources and labor are immediately called terrorists and accused of being narco-traffickers, like in the case of Venezuela. Here at home, the government, through the police, has infiltrated the communities of color, especially the black community, with drugs. In top of all the unemployment, lack of housing, lack of education, health care, and the violation of human rights for the immigrant community through ICE, and the black community to the systematized killing of its people, especially the young, through police brutality and incarceration. This work on drugs and terrorism has been utilized to empower the rich and powerful, to continue putting all the resources of this country and of the world into a military might, and the super concentration of money and power in the hands of the rich and powerful, taking from us the little that we have and putting the burdens of this so-called crisis on our shoulders with the budget cuts. Brothers and sisters, this is a lie. There is enough wealth in the world and in this country for all of us to have education, health care, housing, and jobs for every able body in the world. But the rich and powerful want more. The rich and powerful want more. That is not a crisis. That is not a crisis. They said that there is not enough, but that's not true. There is too much. But they want more profit, and they want to drive us to misery in order to have more. This so-called war on drugs and terrorism is a war on the poor and the people of color. It has terrorized our immigrant community, hunting us like animals. But most of all, it has terrorized and violated every human right in the black community. Our black and brown children has no future in this society as it is. Our children are the future of their grands that are expendable to this society. My Asian son is called Chinaman. My Latin daughter is told to go back home even though she was born here. And my black grandchildren are told that They are called agri-Negroes. They all come home with pain, feeling less than a human being, feeling the hate that has been put in people's mind by this government that represents the rich and the powerful. But I ask today to all of us, who really cares? Who is willing to fight for the future of our children? I say, as a mother and as a grandmother, let us organize, let us save our children, let us lead them again in war. Let us organize our struggle and united and tell the rich, no, you will not have my baby. No, you will not make out of him or her another Oscar Grant. No pasarán sobre nuestros hijos. No, we will not let you destroy them. Never will you be able to destroy them through your drugs, through your incarceration of our children, and through the police brutality. You, the ruling people of the world, we have to cross over our dead bodies in order to reach our own. And even then, our actions will become a song for justice and freedom that will destroy the evil ways. That's what we will say to them, brothers. It is an honor for me, brothers and sisters, to introduce today Dr. Silvestre, founder of the Oasis Clinic, Oakland recognized for the medical care and treatment of persons with addiction, and parent organization of United for Drug Policy Reform. Dr. Silvestre has been on the front line of medical care of addicts for many years and has experienced firsthand the billions of dollars wasted on incarceration, persons with addiction under current drug policy while denying funding for drug treatment and health care. Please welcome Dr. Silvestre.
I am a doctor.
Can't hear you. You need to speak up for please. Can't hear you.
I am a doctor that takes care of addicts.
Not on.
I should sing that.
There you go. A bullhorn. Yeah.
Okay.
I take care of addicts in Oakland when the prison system will not be. But today I speak on behalf of United for Drug Policy Reform. It's an organization by addicts, for addicts, formed at my clinic to change policy toward evidence-based. Dealing with drug use.
I make 5, 6, 11.
How's that? Dealing with drug use by building more prisons is like dealing with cancer by building more cemeteries. But still they build. And in the last 4 decades, we've seen unimaginable advances in imaging and molecular biology that have clearly defined addiction not as a failure of morality, but as a biochemical or neurochemical illness that's formed deep in the brain. But still we build. And still I yell loud. defeat the epidemics of HIV and hepatitis C and other transmissible illnesses, but still they don't. And I'm hearing calls to end this war on drugs. But if we do that now, we leave intact the very policies that have victimized our communities of color and the economically underserved, and the so many left in our classless society that the policies have destroyed. So we at United for Drug Policy Reform say no. We don't want to end this war on drugs. We want to organize, and we want to win it. We want to end incarceration for nonviolent drug offenses. For those who have committed violence by using drugs, we want to make sure that the focus of their incarceration is treatment. Diversion on Wednesday afternoon. And we want those who are transferred to the community to have assured access to treatment and care, not just something that might be out there in their communities. And last and most important, we want to destigmatize this illness called addiction so that people with drug use can get care and treatment for their condition just like people with asthma and diabetes and high blood pressure do. So we are here to organize. We are here to ask you to join us in this fight because we are the enemies in this war on drugs. But we are going to fight and we are going to win. Thank you, Dr. Sylvester. Our next speaker is Roger White. Roger White is currently a correction researcher and policy analyst for the Service Employers International Union. He has been a criminal justice researcher and activist for over 10 years. He's also the author of 2005 book of colonial anarchism. He is in Sacramento. Let's welcome Roger White. How y'all feeling? All right. I'm really glad to be here with y'all today. So the Supreme Court finally got something right. I guess they say that a stopped clock is right twice a day. So we can thank them that they finally have said to the state of California that this state needs to release up to 47,000 prisoners in the next 2 years. Now we should all, that didn't just happen though. It's because of all of the hard work of all of y'all, activists, organizers, researchers, fundraisers, making this movement happen. Supreme Court decisions don't just drop from the sky, and so we all should give ourselves a round of applause for the hard work that we've been doing to make this a reality. But you know what they say, every victory is just a setup for more struggle. And so we have a lot of hard work ahead of us. There's this thing called realignment. So we know that the state realizes that it has to release tens of thousands of prisoners, but the question is, how is that going to happen? And so realignment is this idea that the counties are going to keep so-called low-level, non-violent, non-serious, non-sex offenders in their own jurisdictions instead of sending them to the state system. Now, that sounds good in theory, but they have a little plan for us. A lot of counties are thinking about replicating the same failed policies that the state undertook in the 1980s and 90s of building prisons and locking more and more people up. And so now they want to do that on the county level. They've made changes to AB 900, which was this prison construction
statute that was passed in '07. And so they have plans to build a whole bunch of mini state of California, prisons everywhere on the county level. And so we have to stop that. And so it's going to be important that we do work in the counties. And so where you're at, whatever county you're at, you have to pay attention to what's going on, because they're going to be coming up with plans to construct more jails and more prisons. I work for a labor union. And our plan from the very beginning has been that we don't want the money that's going to be going to the counties for realignment to go to more jails and to lock more people up. We want that money to go to mental health treatment. We want that money to go to education. We want that money to go to the people and help them so they don't have to wind up being back incarcerated in the system. Does that sound like a plan? Does that sound like something we can all get on board with? All right. Just one last thing. Sometimes, all this talk about realignment and people being kept on the county level, sometimes we forget that there's a whole bunch of folks that are still going to be locked up in the state system. Over the last 2 fiscal cycles, they've cut rehabilitation funding for people who are in prison by $400 million. And they're not through yet. Less than 10% of the people who are in state prison today have access to mental health services, to drug treatment, to education services. And so when we start talking about what we're going to do in the counties and let people out and all this other stuff, we got to remember that there's still going to be hundreds of thousands of people locked up in the state prison, and we can't forget about them, and we got to make sure that they have the resources that they need to make sure that they don't have to go back. Does that sound right? Does that sound like a plan? All right. Thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good work. Okay. Our next speaker, I apologize for the sound system was trying to be so you can hear us, okay? I'm trying very hard to speak as loud as I can so you can understand who I'm bringing to speak to you now. We'd like to welcome Compañero Manuel Lafontaine. He's an organizer with All of Us or NAN, which is a national organization of formerly incarcerated individuals fighting for full reinstatement of former prisoners' rights. He's also a full-time staff member of a legal service for prisoners with children. Both organizations are members of the statewide alliance, California United for a Responsible Budget, or CORP. CORP member organizations work together to reduce the number of people in prison and the number of prisons in the state. Manuel has chosen to engage in the struggle to advance the betterment of our communities with legitimate alternatives to the current notion of public safety. Please welcome Manuel.
Hey, so how many people can hear me?
We can!
So we're here today, right? 40 years since Nixon declared the war on drugs. And we all know here that there's never been a war on drugs. There's been a war on people. And the war on people has been successful by all those profiting off our backs. So we're here to unanimously, to collectively say we must end the war on drugs. We must end the racist policies. We must end the racist sentencing laws. And we got to focus on the solution that we all have here, that we all bring with us. For 40 years, over 40 million people have been caged up, released, supervised, recaged, killed inside the state-run gulag. And we have to do something about it. So we're here today to also look at the future. We have solutions. We have over a dozen solutions, many more. But one of them is that we must repeal or end the current California 3-strike law. And life without sentence for youth. Our youth are not allowed to smoke, drink, and do certain things that are prohibited here in the state of California and other places, and yet we punish them by sentencing to death or life in the state California prison. That must end. We also must reform a lot of sentencing and drug laws. For example, we must stop making small possessions of drugs felonies but drop them to misdemeanors. We have to look at ways that is going to build our communities. Our communities can only be safer when we look at the needs of every one of its members. We cannot, and I repeat, we cannot continue to cage our way, to build our way out of a social problem. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're here to offer the community, the media, everyone else the solutions that will work. And we ask that we invest, we demand that we invest in the community, that we invest in people, and divest from cages, divest from prisons, divest from punishment. Thank you.
I'd like to invite here Isaac Jackson, who is a drug user activist and co-founder of the San Francisco Drug Users Union. He works in the tenderloin among peers who are living with multiple disabilities, including drug use, mental illness, and those at risk for blood-borne pathogens. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey everybody. I'm here because the Drug Users Union of San Francisco asked me to come and tell you all thank you for trying to end the war on drugs and that we're doing okay. And we're going to do a lot better once we understand that drug users are just another group in a long line of people who have been oppressed by a system that doesn't want to know what's going on. Do you know that 80% of the IV drug users in San Francisco have Hep C? 80%. It's a disease that can be stopped and prevented. Do you think that the stigmatization of drugs and drug use has anything to do with that?
Yes.
Yes, I think it does. Are we going to pay for the health care of people who are sick from preventable diseases? I think we should. But we should do even better than that. People should not get sick because they're drug users. I have a solution for San Francisco. Stop arresting drug users. Stop putting drug users in jail. Use that money for schools. Give Medi-Cal patients their glasses back. And dental care. And housing. Jails are not housing. Okay? Alright? We can take care of ourselves if you leave us alone. Alright? We must stop the most deadly drug of all, which is addiction to incarcerating people. For no reason at all. Alright? I just want to tell you that a little short story. You can hear a lot of figures about how much money is being spent on the war on drugs and stuff like that. That's really good, really important, but I want to bring it down to a personal level for a minute. A friend of mine who was a drug user got carried away and fell out of a window and fell 5 stories down. But he lived. He's living. And he broke his back and his legs. And he's been in rehabilitation for a long time to get to walk again. Alright? And he's ready to come home. But guess what? He can't go back to his apartment. You know why? Because they want to evict him because he's a nuisance. Okay? Because he's a drug user. I think that really sucks. And I think there's a lot of people out here on the street who are drug users who are there not because they couldn't pay their rent, but because people didn't want you to as human beings. Alright? If you can fall out of a window and want to walk again and live, you deserve housing. Okay, not to mention the fact that my friend doesn't have any vision. All right? And he's on the street, he'll be on the street looking for people like me and trying to help him. And that's what the union's going to do for other people like that. We're going to try and help each other because sometimes that's all we have. All right? And I think all of us are family. All of us know that the war on drugs sucks, and that you know, we need to start loving each other and stop hurting each other. And that's part of what we need to do to end the war on drugs. Thank you.
Compañero Vato Talamantes is a former political prisoner of San Quentin 6. He's a founder of the Pelican Bay Information Project, which was started in 1990 in conjunction with the opening of Pelican Bay and the state-functioned torture units called Secure Housing Units, or SHU. He has been a comrade and an organizer with the struggle against imprisonment for decades, and is here to talk about shutting down the SHU. Welcome, compañero.
Friends, all my relations, my name is Vato. I want to thank the organizers, the drug policy reformers, the Stop the Drug War organizers, the coalition, because this is really, really outstanding that people can get out here on the issues that are plaguing us, our society. And we know that the biggest drug pushers within the prison system are the prison pharmacies, the prison administrators. They're doing billions of dollars of business with the Department of Corrections, selling expensive drugs, subtropic, and all these other controlling drugs, so that they can control the imprisoned body, which is exploding all over the country. That's the business that state government, national governments are in. They're in the business of locking people up, putting people in prison. The majority, a good 0.5% of the people, 60–70% of all the people in prison are there somehow related to drugs. All right? But the pharmaceutical companies, the big squib and them companies, man, they don't want drugs to be legalized, you know? They want to have that monopoly on them, but yet we see prisoners today at Pelican Bay, our early formation of the Pelican Bay Information Project, from when Pelican Bay first opened 1990 to now, 20 years later, a lot of the prisoners that were there when it first went online are still there. A lot of them are kept in habitual drug psychosis. They're under drug treatment. How can anybody, human organism, survive in such an environment, a solitary confinement environment for 20 years? They got them under something. They got them on drugs. They got them tied. They're doing torture on them. We discovered early on that Pelican Bay, the United Nations claimed in 1994 that Pelican Bay was one of the 3 prisons in America that had systematic torture happening at those facilities. There was something called suitcasing. Check this out. Suitcasing is when you hog-tie a prisoner ankles to wrists behind your back. Now think about that, behind your back, and then you run a belly club underneath the handcuffs, and you heft them up, and you move them around. That's called suitcasing. It was a frequent practice of the rank and file guards up there who are known to abuse people. Now there's a lot of other prisons where this torture is going on, unfortunately. It's never going to stop when you got repressive government, because as we know, the oppressor oppresses all the oppressed. And that's one hard lesson we've all learned. I myself was in prison for a number of years, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm a survivor at my age. There in San Quentin, a lot of the other facilities. I have visited
the women's prison at VSPW, the security housing unit there. It's horrible, even for a man doing time. What the women prisoners are, the way they're kept in the security housing unit at Valley State Prison for women, there in Chowchilla, it's just really, really horrible. It's scary. Pelican Bay still carries a revolutionary spirit of resistance. People that have been there all these years, who have not broken, who have not cracked, who are still connected to the struggle for humanity, for human rights. Please get one of these flyers here. Let's help support the hunger strikers at Pelican Bay who are going to be initiating the hunger strike. It's not just a hunger strike as we understand it, it's a do-or-die situation for them. It's a do-or-die situation because the state, for many years, we discovered has a systematic starvation program going on. They starve prisoners over a long period of time in hopes that they will collaborate, that they will debrief, confess. That's the program, confess before we let you out. The prisoners at Pelican Bay have come across racial lines, cultural lines, and have decided that on the 1st July they will initiate a hunger strike. And as extreme as it is, because they don't got a lot of food anyway, as extreme as that measure is, they're prepared to do it to bring attention to themselves. So please get one of these flyers. It tells you where to go online, how to sign the petition. Let's give some support to the prisoners at Pelican Bay. Many of them have been there for 20 years. Imagine that, living in a closet for 20 years. Okay, much love to everybody's here. I want to say to my dying breath, I will always speak out for prisoners who no longer can speak for themselves. And like I said, I'm a very, very rare specimen at my age, an elder, a double OG, who managed to squeeze out of the clutches of what I call Colossosaurus X, this human reptile of a prison system in California that stretches from Pelican Bay, which is 10 miles from the Oregon border, all the way down to Calipatria, which is on the other border. It's a big lizard, merciless, doesn't have any heart, it's cold-blooded, and it eats people, it consumes people's lives. And that's what we have here, a man-made state construct of state-sanctioned torture that's operating on the prisons. And who's in there? Third world concentration camp is what it is. All right, much love, power to the people.
Brothers and sisters, let's give one big round of applause to those who have come here to speak, to share their feelings, to talk about their lives, and to continue organizing for our rights. Come on, one big round of applause. We're going to start the march, but I want to say something to you, brothers and sisters. We had